When my younger sister gave me a blessed pendant, I immediately hung it around the neck of a pregnant sow. In my past life, my sister and I got pregnant at the same time, and she bought an expensive blessed pendant from Tunisia to ensure my baby and I would be safe and sound. I was touched, and I wore the pendant every day. Months later, my sister and I went into labor at the same time. I gave birth to a deformed, dead fetus, while my sister gave birth to a healthy, chubby baby boy. My in-laws thought I had cursed my son to death and would also end up bringing misfortune to their family, so they drugged me and sold me to Tunisia. I was turned into a freak show and placed inside a vase to become a public spectacle for all who came to see me. It was only after my death that I found out it had all been my sister's doing. She had known from the start that there was something wrong with her baby, which was why she got me the blessed pendant to exchange the fates of our babies. When I opened my eyes again, I smiled as I stared at the round belly of the sow. Eliza, I went to Tunisia specifically to get a blessed pendant for you as protection. It's worth several $100,000, and I got two, one for each of us. I jerked awake when I heard the familiar voice. When my younger sister Denise placed the pendant in my hand, I realized I had been reborn. I immediately touched my belly, and I felt a sharp pain in my heart. At the thought of how much pain I had suffered before my death, I wanted to tear Denise and Simon apart. However, I had to suppress my hate and remind myself to stay calm. I had to protect my son in this lifetime and make sure that he was safely born. When Denise saw me staying silent, she thought I was so touched that I was unable to say anything. She tried to put the blessed pendant around my neck. I instinctively slapped the pendant away from her hand. When Simon, who was sitting next to me, saw what I did, he jumped from his seat agitatedly. Are you crazy, Eliza? Why are you being so rude? He bent over to pick up the pendant while Denise stood at the side, looking so upset that she was about to cry. Don't you like the pendant I got you, Eliza? It's a token of my appreciation for you. That pendant will bless you and your child with a safe delivery. Simon quickly comforted her. Eliza is just too happy to receive such a precious gift, Denise. Why wouldn't she like it? I'll accept the pendant on her behalf. Don't worry about it. I stayed quiet as I watched them put up their acts. What a joke to see my husband and his sister-in-law play an improv scene in front of me. I smiled and walked over to them to take the pendant from Simon. Why wouldn't I like something Denise got for me? Please don't be mad at me, Denise. I didn't slap the pendant away on purpose. Denise sighed with relief when she saw me accepting the pendant. She quickly came over to help me put it on. This blessed pendant really works, Elise. You can't take it off after you put it on. Simon, you need to make sure Eliza remembers to wear it all the time. She can't take it off. It's the only way to ensure that mother and baby are safe and sound. He quickly agreed to it. That was when Simon's phone rang, and after picking up the call, Denise and Simon exchanged a look. He then said, both you sisters should catch up. I need to head back to the office for work. Denise was worried I would take off the pendant after Simon left. She kept holding my hand and following me everywhere, while telling me all sorts of stories to convince me how effective the pendant was at giving me and my baby protection before she left. From the way Denise was acting, I was convinced that the pendant would only work if I kept it on me all the time. Once she left, I took the pendant off right away and started using a scanner to scan every inch of the house to ensure that there was no surveillance set up to watch me. Only after doing that did I feel safer. Next, I took out my phone to share a few photos of the pendant with my secretary to get her to have a duplicate of it made as soon as possible. My secretary was very efficient. It did not take her long to deliver the package to me. I smiled as I looked at the exact replica of the pendant. Now that I had been reborn into this lifetime, my main mission was to ensure that my son was born strong and healthy. I headed to the most expensive and safest maternity hospital in the city for a full body checkup. I finally stopped worrying only after the doctor told me that the baby in my belly was healthy. After that, I headed to my grandmother's house, and I put the pendant around the pregnant sow that my grandmother was raising. I headed home after I was done. While I was on the road, Simon called me on the phone. I have a business trip that will last a few days, Eliza. Take good care of yourself at home, and don't take off that pendant Denise gave you. Denise showed up again after a few days. She kept staring at my neck the moment she entered the door to confirm that I still had the pendant around my neck. I saw her sigh with relief when she saw me still wearing it. Denise placed her phone on the table, took out a promotional pamphlet from her purse, and passed it to me. She looked at me tauntingly. Take a look at this, Eliza. It's a luxurious center for postpartum care that my boyfriend booked for me. It costs more than $200,000 per month. Simon claimed that he was going on a business trip, but he was really taking Denise to make a booking at the center. That center was the best and most expensive in the city. I could not bear to spend so much on myself, but Simon was using the money I had saved to spend it on Denise. My face fell as I took the pamphlet from Denise, and I pretended to be mad. You're about to go into labor soon. Yet as your sister, I've never seen the baby's father before. When will you let me meet him? Denise looked shy as she went to the sofa and sat down, while helping herself to the fruits on the table. Don't be anxious, Eliza. You'll meet him once my baby is born. That was when Denise's phone, which was on the table, suddenly rang. I glanced at the phone and saw the name on Denise's phone screen displaying as Honey. The call was from her boyfriend, who had never shown himself before. I knew Honey was Simon. The phone was near me, so I reached out to pick it up and said out loud on purpose, Denise, your future hubby is calling you. I'll pick the call up on your behalf, all right? Denise panicked when she heard me, and she jumped from the couch to hurry over to me to snatch the phone from my hand. However, she slipped and lost her balance. She slammed to the ground with a loud crash, with her belly taking the impact. Denise lay flat on the ground while clutching her belly hard, looking like she was in extreme pain. I was smiling, but I quickly changed into a worried expression. Denise, why did you get so agitated? You should be careful when you're so heavily pregnant. If anything were to happen to you, I might be the one going to that center your future hubby booked for you. Her phone continued ringing in my hand as I continued to tease her while pretending to pick up the call. Denise, your phone won't stop ringing. Maybe I should get him to come over quickly and take you to the hospital. Before I could finish my sentence, Denise quickly climbed up from the ground while suppressing her pain to snatch the phone from my hand. No, it's all right. I'm fine. My boyfriend is really busy. Let's not disturb him. When Denise left my house, her face was contorted with a lot of pain, but she still reminded me to make sure I kept the pendant on at all times. I could not help laughing wildly in my heart when I saw that Denise was close to passing out from pain, but was still trying her best to pretend she was fine. Denise looked worse over the next few days. Her belly got bigger and bigger, and it started being covered with dark pig's fur. Despite her condition, Denise insisted on coming over to my house every day. Every time she visited me, she would stare at my belly. Eliza, do you feel any discomfort? I looked at her and unbuttoned my shirt to show her my belly. I had drawn many stretch marks on it in accordance with what I remembered from my past lifetime. I complained to her, I have no idea what's going on, Denise. I've gotten so many stretch marks, and I feel tired all the time. Denise looked relieved when she saw the stretch marks on my belly. I smiled and said, your belly has gotten quite big, Denise. I heard that when it gets this big, it usually means that you could be pregnant with twins or triplets. Have you gotten an ultrasound from the hospital? She covered her belly with her hand as she replied with a smile. Of course I have. The doctor said that my baby is very healthy. Denise continued visiting me every day, and if this went on, she might suspect my pendant was fake. With that in mind, I gave her an excuse the next day to go to my grandmother's house to rest while waiting for my baby to be born. My grandmother had never liked Denise because she was my stepmother's daughter, while Denise returned the sentiment. That was why I was confident she would not visit me often at my grandmother's house. My baby continued growing healthily under my grandmother's love and care. Just when I thought Denise had completely let her guard down, she appeared at my grandmother's house 3 days later, accompanied by Simon. Simon said, Eliza, I'm here with Denise to take you home. Your grandma is getting old, and it's not nice of you to impose on her. Simon was helping Denise out of the car as she was having difficulty with her mobility. She looked just as I did in my past lifetime. Her eyes had sunken in, and she looked skinny as a rack. She even had a scarf around her neck to cover the black stretch marks on her. Denise stared at my belly the moment she got out of the car. Even though my belly was much smaller than Denise's, it was still considered a normal size. Denise's belly was abnormally huge, causing her major imbalance. She required help even when walking normally. Her eyes widened as she stared straight at my healthy belly. Have you been feeling any discomfort recently, Eliza? I pretended to look incredulously at them. I'm feeling fine. Why would you ask such a thing all of a sudden? My reply seemed to panic Denise. She opened up the part of my shirt that was covering my belly. Why have your stretch marks vanished, Denise? That's impossible. Don't you feel any discomfort at all? I slapped Denise's hand away. What do you mean, Denise? Are you hoping I'd be experiencing discomfort? That was when my grandmother returned from feeding her pig. pigs. She muttered, "What's wrong with that pregnant sow? Her temper has been flaring lately." Denise turned to look, and she was stunned when she saw the pendant around the neck of the sow in the pig's pen. Her eyes widened, and she roared furiously, "Eliza Carter, why is the pendant I gave you around that sow's neck?"